Welcome to the New York Yacht Club Race Week at Newport, presented by ROLEX. Now in its 8th biennial year, the regatta takes place over a 9-day span, and it's comprised of 3 separate events. Hi, I'm Tucker Thompson, and today is the traditional distance race around Conanicut Island, starting and finishing right here, off of Newport Harbor. Committee is on station and at the ready. Very light breeze and an outgoing tide. Pin end is very favored as teams prepare to start. The outgoing tide could prove dangerous for some boats. The clock ticks down. We're at the pin end with them. There's the gun. No X flag. Beautiful job. Oh, hold on. One boat. And it was an avalanche. Great start for them at the pin. It was Superstition, who has now restarted. It's another party at the pin for Perf 1 and a beautiful start for Todd Stewart's White Rhino. American Eagle, Laura, Sija, and the beautiful Bolero round out this class. 8 boats in IRC2. It was High Noon holding up Decision, and with that outgoing tide, it means both boats are close to the line. A little scuffle with Temptation from behind. They'll slide through to Leeward, and we could have over earlies. Oh, yes. High Noon and Decision were over. Decision restarts immediately. Unfortunately, High Noon gets the call a bit late. And finally, IRC1 is next. The biggest boat at 90 feet is Rambler, setting up for a port approach. Well, there's no way Rambler's going to get through the rest of the starboard tackers in the fleet. They'll duck. Meanwhile, here at the pin, Jim Schwartz's Vesper is online perfectly, but just to leeward is her sister ship flying, Jenny, luffing up. David Askew at the helm. Will he make it without hitting the pin? Well, a slow start for the rest of the fleet, but not for Vesper. They are off 2 lengths and counting ahead of the rest. Just to leeward of Clingstone, that port approach turned into a right-hand setup for Rambler as she rambles by the rest of the fleet, now on starboard. Interlodge short tacks incredibly close to the rocks. Others choose a track up the eastern shore. High Noon has to tack for Bolero on starboard. Ahead of them, it's Cool Breeze, who gets up close and personal with the spectators at Castle Hill. John Nicholas Brown would be proud. The breeze and the seas are increasing greatly as the fleet heads out of the mouth of Narragansett Bay. With a crew of junior sailors aboard, it's Jaded, the J105 passing Beavertail Light. At 90 feet in length, Rambler has momentum on her side, and she'll need it in this adverse tide. Thin ley line luffing up head to wind just to squeeze around the mark. Jerry Kirby and the boys up on the bow for the set. Others have the same issue as they fight the tide. Heavy ley line for decision, nice job. They'll roll around the outside of the boat to leeward. Four boats deep at the mark, and obviously those that have overstood the ley line make out the best. With that, it's spinnakers up as the entire fleet heads downwind. The best crews react to adversity. That white spinnaker on deck, well, it just ripped in half right in front of our eyes. Well, the crew was so quick we couldn't even catch it. It went down the hatch, and the new spinnaker is on its way up. A very good recovery. To lure to them, it's Flying Jenny and Interlodge locked in a heated battle off of Dutch Island Light. Through the center span of the Jamestown Bridge and its Commodore Bob Towse's Blue Yankee, second place boat for boat overall. Behind them, it's Vesper cutting it close on the western side. Out in front of them all is the mighty Rambler, George David, and crew boat for boat. They're in command of the race. Breeze shifts forward, and that boat is flying. At the leeward mark with a jibe drop on Privateer. The jibe was great. The drop, however, takes just about every crew member on board. The Aurorica leader has something to say about that rounding as well. Pretty close to it. Back in towards Conanicut, it's Vesper short tacking upwind. The fleet now heads back into the breeze. The last stop is the center span of the Newport Bridge before the fleet heads to the finish. The Arogica leader has one more pass at the fleet before they head for home. Here at the finish line, it's New York Yacht Club Commodore Bob Towse's Blue Yankee after just over 2 hours and 19 miles, and that wraps up the race. So with the distance race now complete, part 2 of the New York Yacht Club Race Week at Newport presented by ROLEX comes to a close. The fleet will now shift gears for the next 4 days of round the buoys racing. I'm Tucker Thompson, and we'll see you tomorrow on the race course.